Hey, so I'm here with Fred at a private Rane area here in the NAMM show, and he's going to give us a private demo and talk through of the new equipment, which is right behind us. Shall we take a look, Fred?
Absolutely.
So here's the whole setup. We're going to start by looking at the Rane 12s, these turntable devices, and then we'll move on to looking at the mixers. So Fred, tell us more. What's the inspiration behind these and how have they gone down?
Okay, the inspiration behind the Rane 12 is basically to eliminate any of the hassles that come along with a tone arm or a needle or basically any turntable setup. You know, tone arm issues could be anything from a broken needle, bad RCA cables, or bass feedback from, a large sound system. So the 12 basically eliminates all of that, and that's basically where the idea came from, but to give you the same traditional feel as a turntable.
So it's obviously in the scratch mixing position. It's built that way. I noticed that there are 4 turntable switch buttons at the back there. So in Serato, you can control any of the 4 decks from one of these.
Yep, absolutely. So this unit right here can run on up to 4. You can run up to 4 decks at once, providing you have a supported Serato DJ interface. So the 12 is an official Serato accessory that will work with any Serato interface or mixer. So if the mixer unlocks Serato, the 12 will work for it. However, you can't rock 4 decks on a 2-channel mixer. So if you wanted to rock 4 decks, you have to have a 4-channel mixer.
Okay, so talking of Serato official sound cards, this has got to be the most expensive Serato official sound card ever made, for good reason. Tell us a little bit more about the mixer.
Okay, so right now you're looking at the Rane 72, and the Rane 72 is primarily designed for battle and scratch DJs, but we've also sprinkled a little bit in for the club DJ, for the touring DJ, or also for the mobile DJ as well. So first and foremost, the most important part of any mixer is the crossfader. So we have Rane's brand new Mag 3 fader. Now each Mag 3 fader, you can adjust the tension on all the faders individually. You just simply remove the top plate, and you'll see a set screw on the top of the carrier, and you can adjust the tension on all 3 faders by loosening or tightening up that set screw. And one thing to note about the faders is we've increased we've changed the density of the carrier material, so it's 160 times stronger than the previous faders. I actually have one over here on the side. I can just show you real quick. So that's what the new crossfader looks like. The carrier material is 160 times stronger, and if you wanted to adjust the tension, you just rotate that set screw on the top of the carrier. You can loosen or tighten it, and there's a magnet that's attached to that screw, and as you raise and lower the magnet, that's how you would control the tension. And all 3 faders are interchangeable. As traditional with all Rane mixers, they're all the same fader.
Great. Okay, so there's some proper purist scratch features going on here. There's innovation literally under the hood there. One of the things that isn't under the hood, of course, which is immediately noticeable when you turn this thing on, is that screen. Is it a touch screen?
Oh, absolutely. So you have a 4.3-inch color touch screen. I mean, you can actually scrub your waveforms on it. You can go into your different effects views, and you could modify and adjust your parameters on your effects. Your top 3 effects are your Serato effects. Your bottom is your Flex effects. We got 2 Flex effects engines, 1 for each deck. If you wanted to dive into the XY effects mode, you can dive into that as well. You also have your library view. You have 2 different library views. The first is your simple view, which is your track, song, and your BPM. And then if you wanted the expanded view, that will give you everything: time, key, BPM, artists, etc., etc.
So there's no laptops on show here, and I haven't seen them in all the time I've been kicking around. It does seem that it is fully possible to DJ with this, with your laptop kind of tucked out of the way, right?
Yes, we actually have the laptop running the new version of Serato DJ Pro. It's actually out of sight, so we wanted to encourage people to not stare at the laptop so much and use the controls on the mixer to navigate, and that way you get more familiar with it.
You wanted to stop us filming Serato DJ Pro. I've got news for you. We've already done it elsewhere. So, all right then. So there was something about a very innovative way of adjusting the crossfader on this screen that I was peeking earlier. Can you show us that?
Absolutely. So one of the most key elements for any scratch DJ is your cut-in adjustment. So your cut-in adjustment is basically the amount of dead space that you have before the audio kicks in. Just to give you an example, I mean, we would never have the dead zone this large, but just to illustrate it for you, that blue area will indicate the dead zone. So if I really wanted to dial in my dead zone and get it real tight, now you can't even see it. So it's you can get really precise and get a fine fader cut in. And the cool thing about this is you can actually adjust all 3 faders. So you can do your up faders as well.
Oh, that's cool. So there's lots we could talk about on this mixer, but I want to go back to the decks now, because a lot of people who aren't scratch DJs, but who know a bit about scratching, will look at these decks and they'll say, it's all very well you saying that it eliminates all the problems, but it also eliminates a tone arm, and isn't putting the needle on the record where you want and going back to where you were and stuff, isn't that part of scratching? How's that kind of gone down in the scratch community, or has the scratch community kind of moved on and it's all about cue buttons now, and the tone arm isn't so necessary? Just give us an insight into how it's gone down.
Well, there's different ways on the 12 that you can navigate through your track. So the first way you can do it is up here you have your strip search. So this is basically like your needle search. So this would actually replace the needle and the tone arm. So what you can do is you can navigate through your track by simply pressing and swiping along the search bar. And the white LEDs at the top is basically a track progress indicator. So that basically shows you where you're at in your track. And if you look at the 72, you'll see that I'm actually scrolling from the end all the way to the beginning of the track. And another function
That's pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you. Another function we had on the strip too. So the secondary function is hot cues. So say for example, if you have a 12 and you're hooked into like an SL4 box with an old analog mixer and you don't have any performance pads, we still give you the ability to trigger your hot cues. Now, if you wanted to delete a hot cue, it's as simple as holding down the button and you can delete a hot cue, or you can just press to add a hot cue. So hot cues and needle searching are still very popular with this with all DJs. You need to navigate through your track and find that desired point.
So basically what we're looking at is something that we love here at Digital DJ Tips, and which is obviously still relevant in scratching, which is things never stand still. Technology changes, things alter, some things stay the same. These turntables highly traditional in look and feel, but yet these new features that are coming through are actually moving the whole art of scratching on.
Yes.
Talking about the art of scratching, it's time we had a little demo, don't you?